We have two lives, and the second begins when we realize we only have one. Only the wisest and stupidest of men never change. Real knowledge is to know the extent of one's ignorance. It does not matter how slowly you go as long as you do not stop. I hear and I forget. I see and I remember. I do and I understand. By three methods we may learn wisdom. First, by reflection, which is noblest. Second, by imitation, which is easiest. And third, by experience, which is the bitterest. Our greatest glory is not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. Success depends upon previous preparation, and without such preparation, there is sure to be failure. Wheresoever you go, go with all your heart. He who knows all the answers has not been asked all the questions. Life is really simple, but we insist on making it complicated. The funniest people are the saddest ones. The man who moves a mountain begins by carrying away small stones. If you make a mistake and do not correct it, this is called a mistake. The will to win, the desire to succeed, the urge to reach your full potential. These are the keys that will unlock the door to personal excellence. Humility is the solid foundation of all virtues. It is easy to hate and it is difficult to love. This is how the whole scheme of things works. All good things are difficult to achieve, and bad things are very easy to get. Before you embark on a journey of revenge, dig 2 graves. Respect yourself and others will respect you. Old age, believe me, is a good and pleasant thing. It is true you are gently shouldered off the stage, but then you are given such a comfortable front stall as a spectator. The man who asks a question is a fool for a minute, the man who does not ask is a fool for life. We should feel sorrow, but not sink under its oppression. The superior man thinks always of virtue, the common man thinks of comfort. To be wronged is nothing unless you continue to remember it. The expectations of life depend upon diligence. The mechanic that would perfect his work must first sharpen his tools. When you see a good person, think of becoming like her, him. When you see someone not so good, reflect on your own weak points. Attack the evil that is within yourself, rather than attacking the evil that is in others. An oppressive government is more to be feared than a tiger. Silence is a true friend who never betrays. The hardest thing of all is to find a black cat in a dark room, especially if there is no cat. A gentleman would be ashamed should his deeds not match his words. Music produces a kind of pleasure which human nature cannot do without. Give a bowl of rice to a man and you will feed him for a day. Teach him how to grow his own rice and you will save his life. If we don't know life, how can we know death? The gem cannot be polished without friction, nor man perfected without trials. Wisdom, compassion, and courage are the 3 universally recognized moral qualities of men. It is not the failure of others to appreciate your abilities that should trouble you, but rather your failure to appreciate theirs. The superior man is modest in his speech, but exceeds in his actions. The man of wisdom is never of 2 minds. The man of benevolence never worries. The man of courage is never afraid. It is more shameful to distrust our friends than to be deceived by them. The more man meditates upon good thoughts, the better will be his world and the world at large. If what one has to say is not better than silence, then one should keep silent. To practice 5 things under all circumstances constitutes perfect virtue. These 5 are gravity, generosity of soul, sincerity, earnestness, and kindness. When it is obvious that the goals cannot be reached, don't adjust the goals, adjust the action steps. Forget injuries. Never forget kindnesses. If you look into your own heart, and you find nothing wrong there, what is there to worry about? What is there to fear? Don't do unto others what you don't want done unto you. Learning without thought is labor lost. Thought without learning is perilous. Education breeds confidence. Confidence breeds hope. Hope breeds peace. Virtuous people often revenge themselves for the constraints to which they submit by the boredom which they inspire. To see what is right and not do it is the worst cowardice. Death and life have their determined appointments. Riches and honors depend upon heaven. The beginning of wisdom is to call things by their proper name. When you know a thing, to hold that you know it, and when you do not know a thing, to allow that you do not know it, this is knowledge. To see and listen to the wicked is already the beginning of wickedness. Time flows away like the water in the river. I want you to be everything that's you, deep at the center of your being. If one should desire to know whether a kingdom is well governed, if its morals are good or bad, the quality of its music will furnish the answer. Behind every smile there's teeth. By nature, men are nearly alike. By practice, they get to be wide apart. I am not one who was born in the possession of knowledge. I am one who is fond of antiquity, and earnest in seeking it there. Some are born with knowledge, some derive it from study, and some acquire it only after a painful realization of their ignorance. But the knowledge being possessed, it comes to the same thing. Some study with a natural ease, some from a desire for advantages, and some by strenuous effort. But the achievement being made, it comes to the same thing. The firm, the enduring, the simple, and the modest are near to virtue. He who exercises government by means of his virtue may be compared to the North Polar Star, which keeps its place and all the stars turn towards it. The green reed which bends in the wind is stronger than the mighty oak which breaks in a storm. At 15 I set my heart upon learning. At 30, I had planted my feet firm upon the ground. At 40, I no longer suffered from perplexities. At 50, I knew what were the biddings of heaven. At 60, I heard them with docile ear. At 70, I could follow the dictates of my own heart, for what I desired no longer overstepped the boundaries of right. Signs and symbols rule the world, not words nor laws. Be strict with yourself but least reproachful of others, and complaint is kept afar. Everything has beauty, but not everyone sees it. Study the past if you would define the future. When a wise man points at the moon, the imbecile examines the finger. Without feelings of respect, what is there to distinguish men from beasts? Better a diamond with a flaw than a pebble without. They must often change, who would be constant in happiness or wisdom. To see the right and not to do it is cowardice. To go beyond is as wrong as to fall short. If one should desire to know whether a kingdom is well governed, if its morals are good or bad, the quality of its music will furnish the answer.